4 years ago, I would never have thought we'd be here now. It's like we sat out in our first series, and I thought we'd be lucky to get second.
It's been an amazing 4 years because I think the range of stories is the thing that kind of startles me so much across 55 episodes. It's again feeling that this is the type of show that you can tell any story and you can visit any period or any futuristic setting.
We started with a doctor who was Chris Eccleston. I mean, that was a major factor in re-establishing the show. You know, he's one of Britain's, one of the world's finest actors.
Here we go. Let's do it.
Rob!
I'm so glad I met you. Let me out of these manacles, you'll find out how much fun I am. Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Look at me, I'm stupid. You have got to be kidding. I'm all yours. Might seem like a stupid question, but has anything fallen from the sky recently? Rose?
Yes, Doctor?
Have a fantastic life.
That's it!
I'm on fire!
Christopher Eccleston was an amazing doctor and really kind of kicked open the door to returning Doctor Who.
I'm the Doctor, by the way. What's your name?
Rose.
Nice to meet you, Rose. Run for your life!
It could have been a daft old science fiction show, and the moment he agreed to be cast in it, the moment he was so stellar in it all the way through, it became the show it is.
You think it'll last forever? People and cars and concrete, but it won't. One day it's all gone.
I wanted to create a story for the Doctor. It's like that's the thing that's easy to miss on Doctor Who. You can just have the Doctor turn up and put all your energy into the aliens and the plot and the escapes and the chases and the explosions. And actually you sort of looked at a man with a past and with a history.
My planet's gone. It's dead. It burned like the Earth.
And Chris just made that so real and grounded and such a damaged Doctor.
There was a war and we lost.
What about your people?
I'm a Time Lord. I'm the last of the Time Lords.
It was just so vivid a Doctor, so vital a Doctor.
Everybody lives, Rose. Just this once! Everybody lives!
He makes people realise how heroic they can be, the sacrifices they can make.
You were useless in there. You'd be dead if it wasn't for me.
Yes, I would. Thank you.
He makes people realise what the world is, what the universe is, the choices that you can make.
You could stay here, fill your life with work and food and sleep, or you could go anywhere.
So everything is centred around the Doctor, actually. It's all the Doctor's story.
Welcome to the TARDIS.
The TARDIS was always part of the thinking. It was like there was not one moment I ever sat at home and thought, I should do something different, and it shouldn't be a police box. People were saying to me, what's it going to be? Is it going to be a red telephone box? Even they're old-fashioned now. Or was it going to be a Portaloo and stuff like that? And you sit there going, no, it's just going to be a blue police box like it always should have been. It's been out of date for decades, but they still kept using it on telly. It just worked.
It's the TARDIS. My TARDIS. The best ship in the universe.
Episode 1 of season 1, of course, just seeing it start again, seeing Christopher Eccleston's Doctor and introducing Billie Piper's Rose.
If you are an alien, how come you sound like you're from the north?
Lots of planets have a north.
I think the risk we took on the second episode we did, where we took them back 5 billion years into the future and threw every sort of alien onto screen, like big birds and the face of Bo and the Mox of Balhoon.
My felicitations upon this historical happenstance. I bring you the gift of bodily salivas.
And blue stewards. And then in comes Cassandra.
Oh, now, don't stare.
Well, it's mad, that programme.
I'm such a naughty thing.
It's absolutely mental, that episode. And that was episode 2. There was no playing safe. There was no like, oh, let's be careful. Let's go to a nice little scientific base on Mars where they do some research. It was like in-your-face, big, grotesque, funny comedy aliens.
He's blue.
Yeah. So I'm very proud of that one, really, to take that as a second episode and to say, this is what Doctor Who is. If you don't like it, you'll have to leave. And the audience could have deserted us in droves, and they didn't. They stuck with it. So it's a very good litmus paper at the end of the world for saying what we set out to do. Then you throw Charles Dickens in. Then you blow up Downing Street and destroy Big Ben. For me, was like a defining image of what we set out to do is in Aliens of London, where that spaceship flies over Rose and the Doctor's head. They're standing on the roof of a council estate, chatting away.
You're 900 years old.
Yeah.
My mum was right, that is one hell of an age gap.
And this enormous lorry horn blares and a spaceship flies over their head. One of my proudest things absolutely is reinstating the Daleks to their glory, because they deserve the glory and they're brilliant creatures.
Impossible.
The thrill of seeing that Dalek trundle on for the very first time, and when we filmed back in the Millennium Stadium, was just wonderful.
Oh my God, he's beautiful. Oh, he is beautiful.
I think they're truly, truly iconic, and they're truly series defining, actually. I think they defined our series in the way they defined the classic series right back in 1963.
I never tire of them. Literally, when we're filming with them and the rushes come in and the Daleks are in the rushes, I get more excited than normal days rushes, which is ridiculous. But I literally think they look beautiful, so I love them.
Get out of the way! That thing killed hundreds of people.
It's not the one pointing the gun at me.
He's full of rage and anger and revenge from the Time War, and she talks him out of it.
It couldn't kill Van Staten, it couldn't kill me, it's changing.
She's the one woman, the one human that can make him better, that can make him a bigger character, a better man.
What about you, Doctor? What the hell are you changing into?
And throughout the series, the proper story, I suppose, of Series 1 is, as Rose learns about the universe from the Doctor learns about a different sort of universe from Rose.
What use are emotions if you will not save the woman you love?
So there's a new pattern comes in the second half of the series. It's like, I think every year that's when it gets a bit darker and a bit more complex, actually.
Your life.
So second half of Series 1 you get the Father's Day story, which absolutely, I think, embedded Billy and Rose into people's hearts.
Who am I, love?
My daddy.
Jackie. Look at her. She's ours.
Heartbreaking story, and then you get that followed by The Empty Child.
Are you my mummy?
We were so lucky in that introduces Steve Moffat into the whole mythos and mythology of Doctor Who.
What happens if they touch us?
You're looking at it.
Are you my mummy?
The thing we fought with every year is sort of the cheap episode, and you get that in Series 1, you get Boomtown, which I love. I think Annette Badland gives such a brilliant performance. And how much did Annette and Chris enjoy that scene in the restaurant together?
Give me a chance, Doctor. I can change.
I don't believe you.
I'd rather have a cheaper episode than 2 middling episodes.
That's how you slaughter millions. Because once in a while, on a whim, if the wind's in the right direction, you happen to be kind.
Only a killer would know that.
Cheap does not mean poor, and it makes the script writing fly.
From what I've seen, your funny little happy-go-lucky life leaves devastation in its wake.
And I think the series goes on, and you can overstate it. You know, the most important thing is always having a great story every week.
I'm going to rescue her. I'm going to save Rose Tyler from the middle of the Dalek fleet, and then I'm going to save the Earth, and then, just to finish off, I'm going to wipe every last stinking Dalek out of the sky!
As the story goes on, actually, it's a man who sort of heals himself. In the end, as you head towards the regeneration, it's a man who completes himself and eventually saves her life, and is reborn. He's reborn as a new man. It's classic mythology, really.
To be able to introduce to children the concept of regeneration,
But it's a bit dodgy, this process.
was an extraordinary thing. You know, to get them used to someone else in the same role, having another friend who happens to have a different face.
It means I'm going to change.
I mean, there's no show like it, and to be able to do that, I mean, the people that created this format are geniuses.
Hello. The Christmas Invasion will always be a special one for me because it was the first one I did.
Here we are then.
It's so brilliantly structured. Leaving the main character in bed for nearly 40 minutes on Christmas Day. It's such a bold and slightly mad thing to do.
Rose, of course, was suspicious because she absolutely loved Christopher Eccleston's Doctor. He left me, Mum. So she had to fall in love with him again, which was kind of, I guess, the experience for the audience.
Both working. What do you mean both? Well, he's got two hearts.
I've written for 2 Doctors now, and it's funny because in some way in my mind they're all the same man.
Did you miss me?
I mean, it's literally true that a Doctorness carries on from one to the other.
Be honest. How do I look?
Different.
Good different or bad different?
Just different.
Am I ginger?
I always sort of think David's acting is liquid. I keep on using the word liquid about him because it's like it can flow across his face underneath. You know, there are depths underneath, and whatever he's saying at the moment might not be what he's actually thinking. And even when he's silent, there's 100 things going on under the surface. That's what you ask for from any actor.
You're so different.
New Doctor.
That's beautiful.
Sometimes I need someone.
The Doctor of TARDIS.
Allons-y, Alonso! Allons-y, allons-y!
You extraordinary man.
Hello.
Come here!
All the mothers, every time. I'm the Doctor. I'm a Time Lord. I'm 903 years old. I'm the man who's going to save your lives and all 6 billion people on the planet below. God, they know how to party.
You got my way, doll.
Oh, baby, I'm beating out of samba.
Happens to me all the time.
I'm dazed and confused. No, I know exactly what I'm doing.
The stuff of legend.
The success of Series 1 allowed us to stretch our wings, really.
Peekaboo. Cassandra, let me go! What are you doing?
The lady's moving on. It's goodbye, trampoline, and hello, Blondie.
You end up with New Earth for Billy, which is like the first time she'd had a chance to do comedy.
God, I'm a champ.
She gets possessed by Cassandra, and suddenly it's not just pushing a drama. Doesn't always mean going into the dark stuff. It means giving them the full range of material to play, which they love.
Cassandra?
Goodness me, I'm a man. Yum. So many parts. And hardly used. Two hearts. Tooth and Claw is a fantastic story. It's so kind of beautifully structured and tight and funny.
She's a feral child.
I bought it for sixpence in old London town. It was Her of the Elephant Man. And fast. And the setting is juicy, and the monster's very strong and recognisable, and you've got Queen Victoria in there.
I am not amused. Yes!
Sarah Jane was like the biggest step in sort of saying this is the same programme as the old series.
May I introduce Miss Sarah Jane Smith? Miss Smith is a journalist who's writing a profile about me for the Sunday Times.
That was a particular thrill for me, having grown up watching Elizabeth Sladen, to suddenly be in a read-through with her calling me the Doctor.
Doctor! Oh my God, it's you, isn't it? You've regenerated.
Half a dozen times since we last met.
One of the most important things about School Reunion, though, is what it actually says about Doctor and Rose, about how long can you be with a man who lives forever if you're going to get old and die, and he won't.
Do I stay with him?
Yes. Some things are worth getting your heart broken for.
In Series 2, the Cybermen came back, which are probably the second most publicly recognised monster associated with Doctor Who. They've been in the series since the 60s. I think Doomsday is probably still just about my single favourite episode if I had to have one, just because you've got the Daleks and the Cybermen fighting each other, which is something that every Doctor Who fan used to write stories about when they were 6.
Daleks, be warned. You have declared war upon the Cybermen.
Some of my favourite dialogue ever is when the Daleks and Cybermen meet, and they're actually bitchy with each other.
This is not war. This is pest control.
I had so much fun doing that. Having been told for 30 years that those two creatures could never talk to each other, I loved it.
You are superior in only one respect. What is that? You are better at dying.
That is what every child does. If they've got a Cyberman toy and a Dalek toy, they don't sit there at home going, well, no, they're in completely different stories. I can't have them together. You have them fight on the mat.
And at the same time, you've got this. You've got the conclusion of this incredibly emotional storyline as well.
I love you.
It's quite right.
The performances of Billy and David are just transcendental, really.
Rose Tyler.
They were magnificent on that beach, and it felt like real pain and real drama, the truest drama, which is, you know, about two lovers really who were being torn apart. For that to be happening in the middle of a big daft old sci-fi show at 7 o'clock, I think was a magnificent achievement, and really showed where the show could go.
Series 3, again, the pressure's on because there's a new companion. We bring in Freema.
We're on the moon. I thought that was a great opening story for Freema Agyeman's Martha.
It's real. It's really real.
That's one of the balmiest episodes we've ever done. It's actually one of my favourites, that. I mean, a hospital ends up on the moon and rhinos invade, but your enemy is Florence with a straw. It would have been very odd in Rose to have ended up in the moon after 5 minutes and to have rhinos staring you in the face.
Category human.
But you've got a new companion, so that Freema, Martha, are seeing it all as new. And that just invigorates the whole thing. It's that she doesn't know what a Dalek is. She's got no idea. She's meeting Shakespeare. It's like you're repeating patterns, but if you change an element in the pattern, it is brand new.
Miss Jones, will you accompany me to the theatre?
Mr. Smith, I will.
My favourite thing, actually, is in early in Series 3 is Gridlock.
How about a different planet?
Can we go to yours?
He's talking to Martha about Gallifrey and about the Time War. Now, we know all this. There is a regular 8 million people watching. You don't want to bore them with the scene where yet again we hear that the Time Lords are dead, and yet Martha's got to be told that, so you're looking for new ways to tell the story.
What's it like?
Well, it's beautiful, yeah.
And it was in that scene where I heard the Doctor lie to her. He tells her about Gallifrey, and he doesn't mention the fact that it's gone.
The skies are burnt orange. Beyond that, the mountains go on forever. Slopes of deep red grass, capped with snow.
In terms of the Doctor's character, that is absolutely enormous that he lies to someone. And then he spends the rest of the episode feeling guilty about that and chasing after Martha and eventually telling her the truth.
I lied to you because I liked it.
Which is great for their relationship. Or even better than that, it's great for him as a character because you're pushing him into new territory.
I could pretend. Just for a bit, I could imagine they were still alive.
Every year with David, you've got to say, right, what can we do this new? So you end up with Human Nature.
That's me. Completely human.
We make quite a team.
Don't we just?
You're not John Smith. You're called the Doctor.
Have you enjoyed it, Doctor? Being human?
I mean, the depth and complexity of his performance, you know, when he's playing, by the end, when he's playing the Doctor pretending to be John Smith.
So, I've made my choice. You can have him.
The levels of performance you get there in the end are just the skill he gets to show, and I'm sure he found that hard.
It's empty. Where's it gone? You tell me. Oh, I think the explanation might be you've been fooled by a simple olfactory misdirection.
But he loves finding things hard. It's food. It's food for an actor in the end. It's like, there you go, eat that.
This watch is me. I'm going to become human. Time and time again. Always running out on me.
I always knew, again, that maybe season 3, maybe season 4, the Master would come back. Way back in series 1, I gave lines to the 9th Doctor saying he would know there was another Time Lord. He would sense another Time Lord alive in the universe.
The Daleks survived. Maybe some of your people did too.
I know. In here. Feels like there's no one.
So right back then in series 1, I knew that if the Master's around, he's changed shape. He's human. And he's in disguise. And right back then I knew that if you do this story, then therefore that means he doesn't know he's the Master.
They say there was time travel back in the old days. I never believed.
Seeing Derek Jacobi into John Sim at the end of episode 11 into 12 and 13 was a personal highlight.
Hello.
Hello. And you get a great big finale again. It's getting even bigger than the year before. Wouldn't have worked to see the Doctor had sailed off with Martha at the end of that story. There's a completely separate story going on at the same time of her unrequited love for him, and literally the lesson that truly in life the only thing to do with that story is to move on.
So this is me. Getting out.
The thing with series 4 was you've done the great story of the Doctor and Rose, you've done poor old Martha's unrequited love. It's sort of like it was time to put a best mate on board the TARDIS.
Oh no, we're not married.
Together.
Oh no,
yeah, we're not a
we're
couple.
not married. Oh no, we're not married.
We're so not married.
Never.
Never ever.
It's through Donna's eyes this time, so again it becomes a new experience.
My name's Donna.
No, you don't need to.
Sorry.
Donna absolutely loves the Doctor,
I bloody love you.
but not in that way, just friendship, just proper friendship, and you know, a couple of years older as well, just to make it more of a level playing field for companion and Doctor.
What, you're in charge?
Not this time, Lord, yeah.
Donna Human, no!
History itself, it's possibly the ultimate, isn't it? An event in history becomes what the story is all about. That's got to be the ultimate travel back in time, where the eruption of Pompeii is your star. We always get in ratings a mid-series slump, and I think every series does. You start on a very high figure because of all the publicity. It just acclimatises. But that mid-season slump used to drive me mad. I used to hate that.
Couldn't agree more, sir.
And so it was a matter this time of putting 2 very big tent poles right in the middle of the show.
You don't miss a trick.
The Doctor's Daughter,
Hello, Dad.
followed by Agatha Christie.
No, please don't.
And it worked. I'm delighted. It's one of my properly planned things. Normally I just fly by the seat of my pants. With that, when I actually planned, I sort of said, I'm going to get the audience back mid-series, whether they like it or not. And it worked. We went back up to 8 million for those stories. Yes. Then we had the magnificence of Silence of the Library and Forest of the Dead, where you just know that Stephen's going to fly with a two-parter.
Doctor, please tell me you know who I am.
Who are you?
Midnight has recently become a favourite for me, just because, again, it's very different to anything else we've done.
Roast beef. Bananas. The Medusa Cascade.
It's the one time where the Doctor can't triumph, and it's someone else who saves him. He's out of control in the situation. Well, Russell T Davies is just a bad man. We've waited for so many seasons for Rose to finally find the Doctor. It's that amazing smile, I think, that Billy has. A big close-up when she first sees him that kind of says everything. And that run, I love that run. His run is so beautifully fast and therefore so romantic. And of course it all goes wrong. Of course it does. The Daleks are always there to scupper a bit of romance or hope. It is the perfect climax to episode 12.
He's dying, and you know what happens next. I'm regenerating.
Get people discussing regeneration. Like, we're not talking about the Cuban Missile Crisis here. We're not talking about climate change. It's the regeneration of a science fiction character, and it just captured so much imagination. It's just joy in seeing that work, actually.
It's you!
Oh, yes.
You're naked!
Oh, yes.
Donna, the temp, defeating Davros, defeating this whole fleet of evil Daleks.
Help me! Help me!
With all her compassion and wit and intelligence, it's like no other show could do that, to have a sense of humour defeating the greatest enemy in the world.
Wow, don't just stand there, you skinny boys in suits! Get to work!
To see the world that has kind of formed in 4 years and what those characters mean, to see Martha again, Captain Jack, this extraordinary world that didn't exist 4 years ago.
When we first met, and you made me better, now you can do the same for him.
You want to give a resolution to this storyline that has gone on for 4 years, really. You want to give Rose a conclusion and an end to her journey. The Donna storyline is so sad and so tragic that the Doctor and Donna find each other and have such a great time together, and it all has to end so bleakly.
I want to stay.
Look at me. Donna, look at me.
It's the saddest thing, and just seeing that first edit was unbearable. I mean, we all wept.
It breaks my heart the way it plays out, and I think that's a good thing. Again, in the middle of this daft old show at 7 o'clock, that there is real drama and real feeling and heart to it.
Donna, I was just going.
Yeah, see ya.
I love 12 and 13 this year. I think the sight when you see everyone coming together from the Torchwood Hub to Sarah Jane's attic, to the TARDIS, to Davros, you sort of think how big this whole Doctor Who universe is, and the on-screen, how integrated the spin-offs are, that they're still very faithful to the central show, which is Doctor Who. That I'm very proud of what a coordinated universe it is, and how exciting that is for kids, really.
I think it naturally evolves that every year the season finale gets bigger and bigger, and I think that's because Russell as a writer gets more and more confident, and I think he gets more and more confident about what the production can achieve, so year after year people just want to push further.
The biggest thrill for me is that it came back, that we brought it back, and that it was a hit, really.
It's touched such a diverse group of people, and families are sitting there together watching it. That's amazing. And very, very humbling.
it works for children. It works for exactly the audience that we wanted to hit, and that's a huge thrill.
I'm still here, we've still got specials to come, and it's still all sort of buzzing through my head, and I think I need to go away and do some other jobs and just move on in life and things like that, and then look back. But I know what my reaction will be. It'll be absolute pride, because it's the most brilliant show, and it deserves what it's become. That's fantastic.